Well, review time for Little Sims and her album No Thank You, a review that's about 3.5 months late from the release. But there you go. You know, I'm old. I'm slow. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I love this album. I love this album. I really do. I've enjoyed the shit out of it. It's been very calming. I like how many elements of like mantra type music is present in these songs, and you just kind of sit and soak in what she's saying, in some of these sounds, in these lyrics. I think I would pick Gray Area. If I was forced to pick between these two, I would probably, maybe I pick Gray Area over this one. Just because Gray Area's got a little bit more fire to it, a little bit more spice, a little bit more heat going on. But that's another element about No Thank You that I enjoy so much, and I think is so important because I remember saying during the reaction how there's not a lot of emotion. She's not like angry. She's not, complaining or upset. It's just very cold, calculated things that are coming out. It's like you're reading her diary, or her, not necessarily her diary, I suppose, but it's a deliberate decision, really, is what I guess I'm trying to say. Sometimes when you hear people do this and do that, they complain about these things or upset about these things, but they're still kind of engaged in it. And maybe if they're a little too dramatic, people feel this need to go, oh, poor you, you're being, suppressed by the thing that's also making you rich and famous and etc. So it's sometimes they don't get taken as seriously. But this is like it has a permanent feeling to it of someone just ending a relationship. And here's the reasons why. Here's the list of all the reasons I'm no longer going to spend any time with you. Now, that's the whole album to me. And obviously there's some elements of healing as well, and just, kind of like realization and some growth and foresight in the sense of, when the album closes on, I believe it's Control, this idea of just giving your heart to somebody. Really cool album. Really, really cool album. Which surprises me that it seems like Little Sims didn't really get a lot of love this week. There were some salty comments in the reaction video about how I'm wasting my time with this one, and the music nerds are telling me what to listen to again, and so on. And it reminded me of being in high school. All my friends who are metalheads, they're listening to Metallica and Pantera and Anthrax and Megadeth and all this shit, Slayer, right? And I'm over there telling them, hey, you guys, you should probably check out the new Fiona Apple album. It's really good. They're just like, no, we're not listening to that shit. But I think that's what makes it so special for me is I love Fiona Apple so much. And I feel like Little Sims has kind of turned into a hip-hop equivalent for me, And it's no surprise, I think, to any of you watching that I love lyrics. And so, of course, this album's going to click with me tremendously on that level. I think it's so well written. No, thank you. I love the fact that in the reaction, I totally missed the name of the song, No Mercy, also being a no thank you. Because, in French, no merci, no thank you. And so, just like totally missing that element. I didn't realize it until later on in the day when I think I was putting it up for YouTube and I was doing the timestamps, and I went, oh my God, I'm dumb. just totally missed it. And I was telling my wife how, sometimes my head is quite shiny, as you can see. It, it reflects light. It might also reflect just literal information. Like, boom, just bounces right off. Anyway, but in realizing the whole concept of no thank you and no mercy, and it's cool because that's how she pronounces it in the song, no mercy. It is like just this cold, calculated breakup. That's what it is. No, I'm done with this. I'm done with this industry. I'm done with everybody taking my money. I'm done with people telling me I need their permission to release my music. Like, I'm done. I'm done. And I'm gonna focus on what's important to me in my life, and I'm gonna go in that direction, which I think is fantastic. Especially, too, when you kind of couple this album into Scaring the Host by JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. Obviously wildly different albums, but you've got some artists who are essentially expressing the same thing in different ways. Peggy and Danny going off and just, we want to make what we want to fucking make. And Little Sims, not quite in the same vein in the sense that this is more of like a a breakup album, I suppose, in terms of what the record industry in general, but wanting the same effect, right? Wanting to be able to just go out and make her music. And so I'm very excited if she keeps making music. I hope that she does, to see what she does next, because this one's fantastic. I mean, the last 3 albums have been incredible. The 3 that I've heard from her, the last 3. Favorite track is Heart on Fire, for sure. Love Silhouette. Love Silhouette. Love No Mercy. Love Who Even Cares. Gorilla is fantastic. It was hard to, I try to keep that to 3, like pick my top 3. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to pick basically half the album as being my favorite song off the album. And then the lyrics too, right? I wrote a bunch of them down. Been a rough week. You've been saying that all year. Oh, just incredible. Incredible. And it's so great because it's a moment of your own realization. And then too, it's something, there's a layer to it, because if you're in that cycle, like, man, it's been a rough week, and you're just struggling and you're struggling and you're struggling, but you don't have that time or that ability or whatever to be able to zoom out and realize it's not been a bad week, it's been a bad year, because everything that you're doing is leading to these consequences in your life. But then when you do have that moment and you are able to pull yourself out of that cycle, it's interesting because you can look around and start seeing other people doing the same thing, not realizing what's going on. So I love that line. There's some great comments too in the video about that line. When you men have your daughters, you'll see how important I am. Just fucking fire, man. Fire. Love that fucking line. Love that line. We all start out so pure. Do it for the love, nothing more. Maybe cop a house for mom, nothing more. Maybe help out my cousin, nothing more. Maybe I'll get a new car, nothing more. And the list just keeps going and going and going. And, just showing how you get sucked in so easily. Great lines. And then don't get lost. And this is off of No Mercy. And it's great because in this part, this is where the production, gets dark, gloomy, sounds like the villain has arrived. Don't get lost in the sauce. When they talk, take your time, be sure. They want you making life decisions over a 3-course meal. And the whole thing about don't get lost in the sauce, when I first heard it, I didn't really understand. But, the sauce, you're getting sauced, right? You're drinking wine, you're feeling good. They're saying all these great things. It sounds amazing. Oh, look at all this food. You just got to sign. That's all you got to do. Easy. Oh, yeah. And, if you're drinking a little bit and they're sweet talking you well enough, it's an easy thing to do, right? Especially if you're excited about getting signed. So just fucking awesome album. Awesome album. And then what was it? Shit, I forgot again. I restarted my video. I like to do this in one cut, right? But I got like 2 minutes into the first one and I fucking totally lost my train of thought. And I just spilled it all over the floor again. It was about Fiona Apple. It was that parallel. Oh, my top 5. That's what it was. I think Lil Sims is probably in my top 5. My personal top 5. Which is why it's surprising to me to see her not get as much attention or as much love, I suppose I should say, in the comments. I mean, obviously there's little Sim fans. I'm not trying to say that she's like underrated or anything, but I am surprised that not a lot of attention on this one. And then an actual edit in my video because it was total train derailment off the bridge collapsed and burned and all this other stuff. The thing about people not being into Little Sims and not getting into her and all that other stuff, just like my friends in high school who weren't into Fiona Apple, I kind of thought about Little Sims and everything that she's doing, especially in this album, right? And I zoomed out and I thought, okay, why are people not into this? And I figured, well, in terms of production, sure, not really a conventional sound in terms of like different regions from the US or whatever. So I can see people being turned off by the production. Some of the songs are kind of long, that you really do soak in that sound. Great writing. I don't think anybody honestly can complain about her writing. But when you get into her flow is kind of almost like spoken word, right? And because of her delivery, because it's not dramatic, because she's not like doing a lot of crazy inflections with her voice and all these other things, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that go, she's not even rapping. I mean, she is rapping, but you could almost argue that she's not, in a sense. So when I zoomed out and thought about that, okay, I can get on board with that. And then too, in terms of, just the topic, the theme of the album, maybe you just don't care that much about somebody struggling and trying to get out of the industry and all this other stuff. So I mean, I get it. Obviously, we're all into different things. We're not required to like everything, just like I'm, not required to like everything. But when I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. I won't be cranky about people not liking Little Sims because there you go. I'm not into Drake, and hundreds of millions and billions of people are. So obviously, I'm the weird one, right? I'm the music nerd. Oh God, fantastic album. Really enjoyed it. I guess that's all there is to say about that. That was a computer glitch, by the way. That was not my speaking in a strange way. That was your computer, not my computer, your computer. Okay, well, no Buog tomorrow, unfortunately, due to personal things that are going on. And then Friday, I think I know what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to tell anybody. Yeah, April's going to be a bit of keeping it a secret, and you guys will just have to be surprised what happens on Friday. And then I think I have next week resolved. So I think next week I can actually have a video for Friday. I figured out a way to squeeze it into the schedule of what's going on in our lives, so that's good. All right, y'all. Take care.